What's in the box?
Well, friends, Christmas Eve is here, and even though a lot of us are too old now to believe Santa Claus will still be out making his rounds, we are never too old to partake in the tradition of tuning in to TBS for 24 hours of A Christmas Story. And if there is any movie I could watch for 24 hours each year, it'd definitely be this one. The snarky humor, the great performances, the iconic moments. It's a movie that will never get old to me. So in the 30 or so years since this movie went from being a box office bomb to one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time, it only made sense for there to be a sequel. And as it turns out, there was. My Summer Story in 1994, from the same director, writer, and narrator of the original. But nobody knew about that one, so hence, nobody saw it. Besides, that wasn't the official sequel. If you wanted the real follow-up to Gene Shepard's classic tale, then you had to turn to Warner Brothers for their sequel from 2012, A Christmas Story 2. Ah yes, Warner Brothers said, now here's the real deal. The real continuing adventures of Ralphie Parker. But as it turns out, we have a few problems, no big deal. Turns out the writer and director are quite dead.
No! God!
Don't worry, that's no indicator of quality. We're leaving this movie in the capable hands of our director, Mr. Brian Levant, the man behind such classics as Problem Child 2,
No! God, please, no! No!
Snow Dogs,
No!
and the Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas.
No!
So how much of your childhood does this movie rape? Well, let's find out. Let's begin the list of this movie's many problems with the absence of the last movie's creator and narrator, Gene Shepard, as replaced here by screenwriter Nat Malden, who co-wrote the Dr. Dolittle remake.
No!
As a writer and narrator, Malden tries excruciatingly hard to recreate the classic wit and voice of his predecessor, but instead comes up with a script of bad sitcom situations and a Gene Shepard impression that sounds more like the older Jack Nicholson.
We landed on the beachhead known as the Personnel Department, and there were 3 bow ties with our names on them.
And where the last movie saw the 9-year-old Ralphie fighting to get a Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas in the 30s, this flick sees a 16-year-old Ralphie trying to get a convertible in the 40s. But through the magic of hijinks, Ralphie's friends Flick and Schwartz have him accidentally roll the car out of the lot and crash a plastic reindeer through the roof of it. So what do you know, the 3 of them have to find a way to make some money to pay for the damages. So they go work at a department store and they suck at their jobs. And you remember when Flick got his tongue stuck on the flagpole? Well, he's got stuck in a pneumatic tube this time. Aha, it is so funny. Aha. That's this movie for you. Taking the heart and subtlety of the last movie and replacing it with cheap slapstick. And it doesn't help that the actor portraying Ralphie, Braden LeMasters, mugs and overacts like a slightly calmer Shia LaBeouf.
I can't get $85 by then.
Well, when do you think you can get it?
Well, 1970 seems realistic.
Where Peter Billingsley made Ralphie feel like a real kid, LeMasters just plays it up like a musical theater actor trying to reach the back row. And the 2 actors playing Flick and Schwartz are just as bad.
Yellow tray, pink ship. He said nothing about green. We gotta close the store. Say it ain't so, Schwartzy, not the green.
In comparison to them, the rest of the cast playing Ralphie's family is slightly better, namely Daniel Stern, who replaces the late Darren McGavin as Ralphie's old man. He gives the movie its most genuinely interesting and funny moments.
Just remember, treat the gas like your wife, and treat the clutch like your mother-in-law. Huh? Boom!
But then again, I am prejudiced because I loved Daniel Stern as a kid, and I'm glad to see he's still working. Hey, better this than Home Alone 5, I guess. But for every time this movie becomes slightly funny and tolerable, along comes another scene of wacky goofiness to remind you how completely and utterly unnecessary this movie truly is. Its plot lines are stupid, from the old man trying to catch a fish to replace the Christmas turkey, to Ralphie chasing a high school crush who only pops back into the plot whenever it's necessary. Its broad acting and direction suggest a community theater production of A Christmas Story instead of a film sequel to it, right down to the backdrops that are obviously flat canvases and not real forests. Bottom line, if you want to see a good sequel to A Christmas Story, give My Summer Story a shot, because I think it's insanely underrated. Hell, go to YouTube and watch any of the other TV movies Gene Shepard wrote and narrated about the Parker family. They have some genuine laughs and heart. All A Christmas Story 2 has is a reason for me to drop the F-dash word and say this movie isn't worth your fudging time.
What did you say?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's not worth your fucking time.
That's what I thought you said.
The best way to spread Christmas cheer is drinking candy cane, vodka, and beer. So get into the spirit and play the awfully good drinking game! Take a shot or drink every time another reference is made to a famous scene from the last movie.
It's a clinker! It's a clinker!
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho!
Because why make new jokes when you can recycle the old ones from the last movie? It's good for the environment, you know. The old man says, you know what they say.
You know what they say? You don't ask, you don't dance.
You know what they say? Every dog has his day.
You know what they say, all toasters toast toast.
Ralphie has another daydream.
The rest of us would have to settle for being with her in our dreams.
A wheelchair? You didn't say he bit her that hard.
Hey, wait a minute, something's off here. And take a double shot when the old man drops the word quacksalver.
You seem pretty honest to me.
He's a quacksalver!
As it turns out, that is an actual word, and I am now going to use it in conversation regularly. For example, the writer and director of A Christmas Story 2 are quacksalvers. And on the nudity watch, well, the leg lamp comes back in this one, even though we all know it got destroyed and buried next to the garage in the last movie. Fuck. I don't even care. This movie has crushed my soul. Let's just wrap this up. On the enjoyableness continuum scale from Boulder Bruce, A Christmas Story 2 gets a significantly worse grade than a C+ at a 3 out of 10. And I hope it shoots more than its eye out.
Oh my god, I shot my eye out!
For JoBlo.com, I'm Jesse Shade, and boy has this flick left me torn and frayed. May you all sleep well in your comfortable beds, while visions of bad movies dance in your heads. And until my next review of Cinematic Shite, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night! Hey everyone, Jesse Shade here from Awfully Good Movies. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see me take on more good bad movies, click on any of the links you see here, or subscribe to see this show alongside all the great content that we offer here at JoBlo.com. And remember, I love you. Wait, that sounded wrong. But I do love you though.